first, so many things I want to ask you, but first, please tell us, what has Frankie said? How did this idea came up? How does this really support your journey? Some women here also do not know your background and your story, so share as much as you prefer and want to and feel inspired to.
Yeah. So like Frankie said, was an idea Jan, my husband, and I had some weeks ago while we were watching Netflix, the documentary, which was very inspiring for me, even though we just watched 20 minutes and then we were like, okay, it was good to see. And then, but then all the creative process started. And I talked to Jan and I said, okay, it would be fun to have something like that, not exactly the same, but just to sit in front of a camera and talk, because we really love the style of the documentary. And Jan has a channel of judgment, so he's always into improving things and he liked to do things better and better. And yeah, and then we decided to start and to have a documentary which is not a documentary,
Yeah.
to just talk about in a very leaned back, relaxed way about my story and what I learned during the last 2 to 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, since I started being online and having a online coaching business, and got diagnosed with breast cancer in 2021. And I just share my story like I never did before, because I just share my story, and it's absolutely, I'm I'm totally in peace with that. There's, for the first time maybe in my life, there is no agenda behind it. So it's,
Exactly.
Jan and I, we're not doing it for someone else. We're just doing it for ourselves to have fun while we produce it. When we recorded the first scenes, we watched it and we were like, no, we won't. This is not what we want. It was surface level, and I really want to go deep with, like Frankie said. So we deleted everything and then we started again, and it was so cool, because there were times where I was like, it has to be quick and there has to be a result now, and I cannot take time to produce something and to not use it at the end, because then I lost what I did, and it was a
Time was wasted, right?
waste of time.
Waste of time. It was
Yes.
so, yeah,
And this
yeah,
is not the waste of time feeling. It's just when I see what we produce and we're doing it in such a with so much love, then I'm happy when I see the result, and when I have the feeling that it's a yes for me. As a
yeah,
clinic authority, I see it, and for me it's like, oh yes, it's yes in my body. It's yes, yeah, I love it. I love it. I do it for myself. Jan loves it, and we are our biggest fans. We are watching the trailer
yeah,
a
yeah,
hundred times.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. I'm your biggest fan. Like I watch that all the time and I get chills. And just as a background, because there's some of
Yeah.
you who you're a splenic projector, channel of struggle mostly, but also channel of awakening.
Mm-hmm.
And you're 2/4, and you are a pure individual.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something that with the individual circuits and the individual channel was something that you actually understood through my guidance more
Absolutely.
what that
Yeah.
means. Yeah.
Yes.
And so a lot of you maybe here go like, oh yeah, I'm a type, this is my type, this is my profile, this is my authority. But actually what is the biggest energetic quality that runs our body is the circuits and the channel expression. And this goes deep. You love to go deep in your work, and I with human design as well. And so as we started, suddenly everything makes so much sense. Of course, when we listen or when we get to our type in itself being a projector, it makes sense that certain things don't work in our life, and especially in business. But this really liberated you from you said to me to explain anything, and I told you you have to do it your way, and give zero fucks what other people think, how they receive it, even if they're watching or not. And so with this entire conversation around shifting the business, pivoting, closing it down completely and rebuilding it now, as Frankie said, this show gives you the biggest recognition and reputation as a guide, as a mentor for women, without even talking about offers, way to work with you or whatever. This is it. This is the kind of best way of describing how a projector works, especially as an individual. Like if you're watching me or not, of course you have a certain motivation, which is guilt, and you dig into stuff and see you want to fix it and pull out the power hidden under each challenge. And so with cancer is the biggest challenge that you have in your definition. And as I said, it makes sense that you have cancer. Even how it sounds cruel, it sounds absolutely cruel, but it makes sense from the design aspect, and it makes sense to go through it with your splenic, healthy guidance. And we cut out everything which makes you feel sick and only leave left what makes you thrive. And that seems not much, but it's so potent, so powerful. What is your message with Frankie said?
So when we started recording the episodes, we didn't really know what I will share. So there is really, I could say something what the message is, but I think the episodes.
No, for you, not for another person. You're an individual. Like what is the core for you?
The core for me is to just having fun while recording it, to have a platform where this is to have a platform where I can go deeply into the things I want to share. And I recognize for myself that it's not Instagram stories. Stories, I love Instagram because I love Instagram as a creative platform. I love making stories with the music and the filters just because I love it. Because for me it's like, okay, it's like a piece of a blank sheet of paper every day, and I can use it as I want it. It's like an artistic platform for me, or an art platform. So, but it's not, and even not the lives on Instagram with me alone. It's completely different when we are talking right now. But I had the feeling that there are two formats I really like, and this is my podcast, Carrie Jones, and now, like Frankie said, where I'm just sitting there and I just share my story, and I don't try to convince someone, or I don't try to make myself understand by someone, or I don't want to teach something or explain something. I'm just sitting there and I'm sharing my story combined with, and this is what, like Frankie said, or where, like Frankie said, has more potential than the podcast, because the podcast is only acoustics with it, which is really strong. But with, like Frankie said, we have the message and the aesthetic and the art behind it, and then the end product.
And you can bring a little pieces from your, I saw it today, your old photos and videos. I love that. So I will also link it later after on my story, so that everybody who got now curious to watch it, she'll definitely watch that. And this is the message I want to translate. My translator, like, this is the message of an individual, to have no fucking message for the other. This is the message as an individual, to have no message for the other. As only thing is for self-expression. And the main thing is there is no agenda. And if women, and especially projectors, could get away with the agenda of need to be seen or need to have something for someone else, and also other types, like with the social media, have your message clear and your ideal client, who you speak to and what their pain points are, like, make it about you, and it says more about you and about your presence, and actually people will buy into you more because they see someone has so much passion and is so anchored and rooted and relaxed and certain in themselves. And that is the work that I want to have all women I work with experience in their life, this cutting off this depending on something external and just for
Yeah.
yourself. And from there, everything else with the mechanics, everything comes. And of course, I can break it all down and explain it all in the design. This is what we do, and translate it in the business and strategize the fuck out of it. I love that as well. That's why I created the stage and all those things. But in the root core, it is about having quality in life again, making it bigger than the business, making it bigger than the business. Let the business be the business, but to support all that. But this is life living. And I love it. And as a creator, I mean, this is my heart goes out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I really,
For
really
sure.
love it.